IVPN student. Thank you, Dr. Osama, for giving us this platform to communicate with each other. I'm so happy to join this meeting today to talk about communication skills in health informatics. Actually, it was challenging. It's the first time I prepare this mix of communication skills with health informatics. So I hope you enjoy this session. Okay, so the outline for tonight's session. First thing we will talk about the pharmacy informatics. What is pharmacy informatics, and some maybe definitions or clarifications. Then I will talk about my journey to reach health informatics passion, and finally we'll take home message. So at the beginning, what's pharmacy informatics definition? The American Society for Health System Pharmacists give this definition for the pharmacy informatics, which is the integration and application of knowledge, information, technology, data, and automation in the process of using medicine. So why pharmacy informatics? Why we need this specialty in the hospital pharmacy or in medical devices companies, for example? First of all, to improve the quality of patient care. How we can improve the quality of patient care through pharmacy informatics? By maximizing the effectiveness of medication delivery or medicine delivery and minimizing the medication errors. Because of in this era, the health informatics or pharmacy informatics is taking a space in the international health organizations. The ASHP also issued a practice document called the Statement on the Pharmacist's Role in Informatics. This statement highlighted some responsibilities for the role of pharmacists in health informatics in 5 areas. First of all, information management, knowledge delivery, data analytics, clinical informatics, change management. These are different areas where the pharmacy informatics or informaticist can work or apply his role. It's very important to know the international companies or the most important companies that highlight this specialty or talk about it and maybe share knowledge about it. They make certificates also, they issue certificates that may help the pharmacist. If we take the certificates or communicate with people from these organizations, this will be very helpful in our career, in building our career plan, for example. These organizations, and not only this, but these are the most important, the HIMSS organization, which is Healthcare Information and Management System Society, the AHIMA, the American Health Information Management Association, the AMIA, American Medical Informatics Association, and the ASHP, also the American Society for Health System Pharmacists. All of them are issuing certificates and courses for the same purpose, to increase the knowledge of pharmacists in the health informatics. If we don't want to go to the academic area, let us say, if I don't want to continue to pursue my master's degree or PhD degree or take residency, for example, I can take certificates from these organizations. So what are the small steps that helped me or led me towards health informatics? This is the most important, and I want to discuss this with you. I want it to be interactive session. First of all, I will take this statement from Dr. Osama. Don't forget to say thank you to your parents, friends, colleagues, teachers, leaders, or a stranger who helped you. Without the help of other people, and for us, without serving other people, we can't reach the place we are. So in this stage, I want to say thank you for all the women and men who helped me in my career and my study in the IVPN network, in the hospitals, in the university, and my mother, of course. So I will start talking about my journey. I will start in 2013, 2014. which was the first internship I take it in my bachelor's study during my PharmD bachelor's years. I took an internship at the King Hussein Cancer Center. This is the first place which I started to know communication and to learn communication skills in my career path. Also, I took professionalism in pharmacy career course or diploma, higher diploma from the CTC Britain, which is the college, Cambridge Training College Britain. In 2015, which is the year which I graduated as a PharmD, I was a graduate, PharmD graduate from the University of Jordan. I became a registered pharmacist in Jordan. Until now, we don't have any health informatics area. I will highlight the health informatics area when I started. In 2016, I take a place as a teacher assistant and a research assistant in the University of Jordan. Then I traveled to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in 2017, and I became a registered pharmacist here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia by the Saudi Commission for Health Specialties. The first step here in Riyadh was a conference, Mentorship in Pharmacy Profession Conference. This conference is very important to me because I knew a lot of important people who changed actually my career life. Dr. Osama was one of them. I first met Dr. Osama in 2017. Between 2018 and 2019, I did nothing in my career because I took a motherhood vacation. So here we can start talking about health informatics. In 2020, which is the COVID-19 year, I started exploring for postgraduate programs. And in this journey of exploring the graduate or postgraduate programs, I was searching about new programs that can help me to be a game changer or something new that I can, let us say, be different than the others in Saudi Arabia, for example, which is the area I live in. So I got a scholarship from the AGFE, Abdullah Al-Ghurer Foundation, online learning scholarship. Also, I took a training at the King Fahd Medical City. I want to highlight about this training. This training was also specialized in health informatics. I wanted to explore my area of specialization before I go deep inside. So in a parallel way, I went to training and I started to explore the postgraduate program and apply for scholarships. In this year also, I was an IVPN champion. This was a very good start for me to communicate with others, to know more pharmacists in the area of health informatics and in the place where I live in Saudi Arabia. Okay, then we will go to 2021. In 2021, I got accepted in the Master's of Health Informatics at Arizona State University. I started my journey of studying the Health Informatics Master, and also I started working as IVPN Analytic Lead. So my comment here that when you are trying to make something new or to take a new opportunity, try to find the opportunity that fits to your passion or to your goals. So don't take everything from everywhere. We can, at the beginning, we try to find what our passion, but when the passion is started to drawn in your mind, so try to take your training to know the people, like-minded people in the area you want to develop in it. Also, I make a volunteering in the King Faisal Specialist Hospital and Research Center. In 2022, I got a job in the pharmacy related to health informatics specialty. I am currently a pharmacy automation specialist. This job position is related to automation more than the informatics in pharmacy. So I'm not working on health information systems, hospital health information systems, but I'm working on the automation solutions that can help the pharmacy in the hospital to for the digital health transformation that we all hear about it now. Also, I did research in my university, and my poster was accepted to be presented in the IHOP conference in Saudi Arabia. In 2023, this year, I have been accepted to be as HIMSS program assistant. Also, I participated in digital health conference. And very recently, the university chose me to be a health informatics advisory committee member. So in this slide, I want to highlight that, again, if we want to do anything and we want to specialize in some area, we want to put our efforts in this area. So if I want to go for conferences, I try to know what conferences related to this area of a specialty, for example, the health informatics. I can go to other conferences related to pharmacy, but I must search for the organizations that talk about health informatics, the conferences that talk about health informatics, etc. And this should be my way to specialize and to be more knowledgeable in my area of specialty or specialization. So my question to you, in which step do I need the communication skills the most? In the journey, Sabrine's journey. Tell me in the chat box, what do you think? In which stage of my career life I need the communication skills more? I will see your comments. '20, exploring. Okay. Thank you, Abdurrahman. 2017. Okay. After COVID. Michelle, can they use the mic if they want to participate?
Yes, they can raise their hands and I can unmute them.
Okay, if you want to share your voice, we can. Rotations, Dr. Osama, rotations are very important to leverage exposure. All through the journey, but differs whether the communication most needed is verbal or written. Thank you, Rihab. Repeat the question, please. My question is, in which, in your opinion, in which level, or in which my journey, in which year, or in which level you see that the communication skill is the most important or the most needed? In all levels, all steps. I agree with this opinion. Actually, in all steps I need, and my ability or my communication skills with each year should increase. It should not be the same. Me at 2016 or 2017 is not and should not be as Sabrine in 2023. How this increase, or how this developed through the training programs, through the volunteering, through the exposure, through many things. I will tell you maybe some points about how to improve my communication skills. But without any doubt, communication skills is needed in every step. For example, in searching for a scholarship, I need to make a video to be accepted as a scholar. I needed to write my statement of interest for the university and for the scholarship company or organization. For the training, I needed also to write. I needed to make my resume or my CV in a proper way. I needed many things related to communication skills, and this was developed with each year or with each stage I move on. So the question, I can't move the slide. How to develop my communication skills? How to develop my communication skills? in my opinion, and you can agree or disagree or discuss with me, first thing, networking. Networking will help you a lot to develop your communication skills. You will learn a lot, you will fail and you will success. And this will develop your ability to communicate with others and to know others. Serving others. When we serve others, we also learn a lot of things. And also maybe our level of self-esteem may increase with serving others. Engagement, volunteering, collaboration. I will show you some examples from my journey. So for networking can be both on social media, for example, LinkedIn. For career, I see that LinkedIn is the #1 social media platform, and the physical conferences and exhibitions you can go to. Serving others, don't always, especially in the first or at the beginning of your career life, don't put the money first thing or first priority in your journey. Do things without money, volunteer, give it back to the community you live in. So I have been accepted in HIMSS 23 in Chicago to be a program assistant, and it was amazing. I learned a lot from serving in this conference. Engagement, always engage with others, always try to ask, go into communities of like-minded people, let us say. Volunteer, always volunteer. Volunteer will give you more than the organization you will volunteer at. Collaborate, always collaborate with like-minded. Find the people that share with you some passion, some goals in your career path, and collaborate with them. So my take-home message, connect with like-minded, have a mentor, always have a mentor. Never underestimate the power of small steps. Always be visible, network, conferences, physical or virtual. Be an untraditional pharmacist. I wouldn't make it too long for you. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you all. And if you have any question, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sabrine, for your amazing story, sharing with us your journey. It is such an inspiration to us, and indeed, joining communities with like-minded people, collaborating and having a mentor, it is the way to go. Thank you so much, Dr. Sabrine, for sharing your presentation with us. Dear participants, you're welcome. If you have any questions for Dr. Sabrine, you can put them in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and we can allow you to speak. She's here to answer all your questions that you have for her. So this is the time. If you have any questions for Dr. Sabrine, she's here to answer all of them. And I think you can always connect with her on LinkedIn, just like applying what she has already taught us in today's webinar. I think it will be a pleasure to connect with her. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe we have one question.
Yes. It says, do you think pharmacists should be engaged in community-related courses and
workshops?
In workshops to improve it, yes.
You mean communication? Yes, communication courses and workshops. Yes, you can do, Munib. Yes, you can do. If you feel that you have any weakness in any area that can help you, especially the communication skills, you can take workshop and courses. And as I told you, you can go for volunteering and for engagement in other areas with people physically, maybe more than virtually, can help you more to increase your communication or improve your communication skills.
Okay, we also have Syed. They raised their hand, so I'm going to unmute them and allow them to ask their question. Syed, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
My question is that what is the main communication skill you have been faced when you in Jordan and when you comes in Riyadh? And what is the opportunity for serve as a community pharmacist in Riyadh? Thank you.
Can you repeat what's the point you wanted between Jordan and Riyadh?
I said that when you start your professional life in Jordan, there must be different kind of peoples and different kind of language. And when you comes to Riyadh, you face difficulty to understand the people and their communications. And how can we adopt a communication skill when we comes to different country?
Yes,
That's
yes.
the main question.
Yes,
How
sure.
it will be helpful?
Hmm?
How
Yes.
it will be helpful?
Okay. Thank you, Sayed, for your question. I think coming to Riyadh helped me to decide to go for health informatics, actually, because at the beginning I was a PharmD and going into a clinical pharmacy track. But when I came to Riyadh, this was not easy. This was a big challenge or obstacle in my career life because here I'm an expat, so I'm not Saudi citizen. So maybe it's difficult to go into the clinical pharmacy track. So I decided to change my career path, and this is very good for me. I think this was the good thing that I gained here, that I went to the health informatics track. Maybe this is you want to know between countries, if you travel from one country to the other countries, what are your strength points and what your weakness point, and you should spot the light on your strength points and try to learn new skills that you can be unique or different than the others in the new country.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have another question from Mohammed. How to apply communication skill in pharmacy practice?
This is a very general question, Mohammed. So we can talk a lot about it. Maybe Dr. Bayan can elaborate more on pharmacy practice.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The other question is from Munib. How can technology and digital communication tools be integrated into pharmacy practice to enhance patient interactions?
There are many tools, Munib, automation tools, wearables that can engage the patient in the treatment plan. Now the patient know what is his treatment plan, not like before. The patient don't know what his diagnosis, don't know maybe what the medication he take. Now he is engaged. And there is something called personal health records, which is like the health records in the hospital, but the patient is engaged. The patient has access to some data, like the lab results, for example, that we all have kind of engagement when we go to the doctor and have some lab results, for example, or can know what the medication or the diagnosis that the doctor write in the medical record. So now, yes, technology and digital health transformation changed a lot, and the patient is engaged too much now.
Okay, thank you. We have Malaz Ali. They say that they have a question. So Malaz, if you want us to unmute you, you can raise your hand or you can put your question in the chat box. We have another question from Abdul. They say, thank you, Dr. Sabrine, for your journey was inspiring. From your point of view, what is the future opportunities of pharmacists as health informatics?
There are a lot of opportunities. Now all the hospitals or healthcare systems are changing or transforming into digital era or digital transformation for the health records and for both sides, the health record, which is the health information system, and also the automation. Automation make a change in the pharmacies, actually. So the pharmacist, maybe the traditional pharmacists now are less, and the job transformation from to normal pharmacist or traditional pharmacist into informatics or automation pharmacist, who is the person who will choose the automation for the hospital, the person who will know the difficulties, the comparison between automation, also in building the health information system, the patient records, to check the medication on the systems, a lot of job opportunities, and you can know them more if you have some experience, some volunteering or training in a hospital, who have a digital transformation plan.
Okay, Malaz, you can ask your question.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello, thank you, doctor, for the all information. I have two questions. One is specific and one is general. The first one for informatic field, what is the basic skills that pharmacists need to have to be engaged in this field from the start, from being a student till post-graduation? This is the first one. And the second one is about passion. I'm a student and I'm a little bit confused about which field in pharmacy that I can take, especially because I feel like gathering information about the fields, it's just not enough to know that you can stick to this field after you graduate, after working, because physical experience and practicing is different from just gathering knowledge. So how can you advise me which route should I take to make it more clear and more stable, because I feel a little bit nervous when I'm thinking about after graduation. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Malaz. I will answer the second question first. This is the most difficult, and me was a student, and I know how it's difficult to know what's the area of passion you will have. But some things can tell you in the road where to go or where not to go. What will help you? The internships, the training. When you go deep inside, some students go into pharmaceutical companies internship. Now I see a lot of pharmaceutical companies make internships, research centers, hospitals. As much as you can train and can enter or engage with other pharmacists from different areas as early as you can do it, you will find your passion more. The second thing that, as I said, the place that you are inside it, where you live, is it okay or not okay? There are a lot of pharmacists want the clinical pharmacy, for example, but it's not always available for everyone. Maybe there are a lot of clinical pharmacists in some countries, so you don't go for that. You want to be special pharmacist, and the passion. This is answer the first question, what you need as a basic skills. You want to love technology, like technology, be a fast learner in technology, have analytical skills. The skills, and you can know it from others. If you have a mentor, he or she can guide you. If you train more, you can know what Malaz love or like or not. This could be my question. My answer, sorry.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Sabrine. I'm going to unmute Osama. They also have a question to ask. So Osama, you can ask your question. Osama Asham, you can ask your question.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
It's my pleasure to be with you at this session. Thank you for the leader, Dr. Osama, and thank you for you, Dr. Sabri, for this amazing session. My question is in analytical skills, as you say. Analytical skills related as the soft skills in general analysis, or analytical skills in labs with the devices that we study in college.
I did not understand the question. Can you?
Okay, I need just to make it. My question is, You have spoken about analytical skills. You mean soft skills for analytical as analysis, or skills that we study analytical subject in college and how to deal with devices, and which one you mean?
Actually, both.
Both.
You should have the soft skills,
So-
analytical skills, and also you can take. For me, actually, I take. You remind me that I took a course in analytical skills, data analysis or data analytics from Udacity. There are some platforms like Coursera and Udacity that offering free courses. You can try and see if you like this track or not. This is one of the ways. Thank you, Osama.
Okay, Doctor, just the name, of course, that you studied in Coursera, please.
Data analytics. I would write it down. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Data analytics from Udacity.
Thank you, Dr. Sabrine. I have just to connect with you at LinkedIn. I hope you accept me.
For sure. For sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We have another question from Munib. They're saying, are there any recommended resources or training programs to further develop communication skills for pharmacists? You responded, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Sabrine, for your time and for responding to all of our questions. And I would like to...
Michelle, I would like to say a word here.
Okay.
Dr. Sabrine, I'm very impressed. Your journey is amazing, Sabrine.
Thank you, Dr. Osama.
And I tell you from an observer and from a mentor that it's all about a passion. You know, everyone has noticed your passion to progress, Sabrine. And also in reply to Osama, Asham, and the others, you know, I would tell you that, you know, it's very important to be connected to the subject matter experts. Today, it's you know, it's a great stage to meet Sabrine as a junior subject matter expert, and soon she will be a senior one. Why at IVPN also your presence is important, because you are surrounded by subject matter experts. Without mentor, Osama and others, we will never discover our skills and our qualities. So to discover your skills, your qualities, and to leverage your exposure, I advise everyone to be visible, to be surrounded by subject matter experts, and to use different resources at LinkedIn or IVPN for you to advertise your talents and, you know, improve your visibility. So Sabrine, very impressive again career path. I congratulate you for that. This is the start of your journey, and I'm sure I can see a brilliant future for you. And it's your time now to mentor the new generation to follow your path, Sabrine. Michelle, thank you for you know, moderating this amazing session, and I will stay tuned to hear also from Bayan today.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Dr. Osama. Dr. Sabrine, we have another question in the Q&A section. So it's from Abra. They're saying, is there a relation between pharmacy informatics and bioinformatics?
Okay, the differentiation between health informatics and bioinformatics.
Yes, is there a relation between the two, pharmacy informatics and bioinformatics?
Okay, bioinformatics is, health informatics is more about technology and health. Bioinformatics more about biology and technology. So we can take biotechnology, let us say about biotechnology, genetics. It goes more into biology rather than technology, the bioinformatics. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. It seems as if we no longer have any questions, but to our participants, if you still have any questions for Dr. Sabrine, you can always put them in the chat box, or you can connect with her on LinkedIn. I'm sure she will be free to respond to all of your questions. So I am going to go ahead and introduce our second speaker for today. This is Dr. Bayan Ahmed Arash. She has a Bachelor of Pharmacy. She is a healthcare and life sciences consultant and patient advocate. She is a regulatory affairs research coordinator at IVPN Network. She is also a co-author for Fundamentals of Pharmaceutical and Biologic Regulations, a global perspective in collaboration with the Regulatory Affairs Professional Society in RAPS. She also contributed as the youngest global author in this brand new book. Dr. Ara provides consulting services in the healthcare and life sciences industry on all aspects of regulatory affairs, covering the entire product life cycle with experience in developing and implementing registration strategies across the various therapeutic areas, from clinical through marketing, application, and post-approval. She is currently a member of the Continuous Professional Development Committee at JPA, Employment Training and Professional Development Committee at JPA also, the International Society for Pharmacoeconomics and Outcomes Research at ISPOR. Dr. Ara received a Bachelor of Science degree in pharmacy from the Applied Private University, ASU. Prior to this, she worked with the UNRWA and did her internship in regulatory affairs, medical affairs, and many pharmaceutical-related functions at Hikma Pharmaceutical. It is a pleasure to have you joining us, Dr. Bayan, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Michelle, for the kind introduction, and the special thanks for IVPN Network and IVPN students, Lester, especially for having us tonight and giving this opportunity to discuss such an important topic. And we would like to welcome Dr. Usama with us tonight. So I will discuss communication skills. And I would like, before I forget, to thank Dr. Sabreen for the inspirational presentation. You inspired us on all levels. My presentation will be a little bit different, and it will focus more on the practice, so you can have more ideas about pharmacy practice in general, what career paths that you can pursue, and the importance of communication skills across this path. So I will share my presentation first. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Now it's in presentation mode.
Yes.
Okay. So today we're going to discuss communication skills and how human beings are not passive, predictable objects, who always interrupt meaning and react as they are supposed to. So we can't predict how human beings interact with each other. So we need to learn and adapt with many communication practices or behaviors. Neither is communication a passive, predictable, one-way event as well. Communication can be viewed as an active process, which is influenced by all the complexities and ambiguities of the human behavior. It's also fraught with potential points and breakdowns that we should consider. Now we will in this presentation, we're going to discover how to master the art of effective communication and how can you unlock your full potential in biopharma. I'm saying biopharma because nowadays we're not having the traditional pharmaceutical industry that's related to chemicals only. Now we had started to see the biological and biosimilars, biosimilar products across the markets. Also, when I'm saying biopharma, I'm meaning the biotech industry, the medtech industry, which is related to the medical devices and using digital health by, for example, measuring blood pressure and using all the technology in assessing the therapeutic diseases or anything like this. So I'm mentioning biopharma in order to keep it simple, and so you can stay focused with my presentation. I'm looking also to see you interacting with my presentation, so you can get the maximum benefit from it. We will start with the learning objectives. Tonight, we will identify key components of the communication process. We're going to highlight key skills to overcome any problems throughout the communication process. And we are going to learn and interact with some strategies for managing specific contexts for communication. Now we have a poll. Michelle, can you share the poll with them?
Okay.
So it's a yes or no bold question. We need to hear you, more from you, and I will start by reading you the first question. Have you ever wondered how effective communication can impact critical decision-making and patient safety within the biopharmaceutical industry? This is a yes or no question. Ever thought about how improved communication among research team can accelerate the development of life-saving medications? The third question would be, have you experienced challenges in conveying complex pharmaceutical information clearly to both healthcare professionals and patients? Yes or no? And my last question, I would like to know if you're ready to discover how refining your communication skills can give you a competitive edge in the rapidly evolving biopharmaceutical landscape. We will wait for several minutes so we can check the results, right, Michelle?
Yes, we can do so.
Yeah. If you finalize the poll, you can write down in the chat box, so we can know that the maximum, all of you had answered. Okay, have they finalized? Michelle, how the results is going?
Yeah, they're going pretty good. Let me.
Okay. So we are closing the poll after 3. So if you didn't finalize your questions, please be quick so we can move or continue our slides. 1, 2, 3. Michelle, can you share the results, please?
Okay.
Okay.
Just give me a second. Let me fix that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So for the first part, we have 79% for the first question. 79% of the participants said yes, and 21% said no.
Okay.
Yes. For the second question, 88% of the participants said yes, and only 12% said no. For the third question, 79% of the participants said yes, and 21% said no. And for the fourth question, 97% of the participants said yes, and 3% said no. Yes.
Okay, there's 7 who said no. 7 or how much? And the third, fourth question. Okay, all of them are ready, but one person is not ready to discover anything. I don't know why. So I'm really happy to see that everyone is interested in our topic today, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. So stay focused, because we are going to give a lot of examples, and you might thought about some opportunities to look for and to pursue if you're interested in pursuing your career in the pharmaceutical industry field. So in the pharmaceutical industry, there are so many challenges for, let's say, to overcome. But in order to rise, we need to understand how aspiring companies and the raising companies tackle those challenges and turn them into opportunities. The biopharmaceutical industry, or the medtech industry, as I've explained already, it's highly regulated. What I mean by it's highly regulated, that we don't use any medications without supervision. So those companies are highly regulated, capital, science intensive, and innovation driven. We have a lot of people to interact with. There is a lot of information. There's new trends in science and innovation that we need to continue following up on. So it's important to have a communication department in each and every company to help or support the functions of each company's strategy by interacting with the country's laws, regulations, policies, practices, because these laws and regulations and practices can shape the ecosystem and really can make or break the global competitiveness of any pharmaceutical company. We should see any product from not simply from the perspective of the customer, but we have to consider, like we say, to put ourselves in the shoes of others. So we need to really think how potential developers and scientists and innovators are thinking about each medication, and how we can support them to deliver these innovative products or novel products to the patients, so they can get benefit from. For example, nowadays, when talking about communication or communicating for impact, we are seeing a huge collaborations, and let's say we have started to see those collaborations maybe in the past 10 to 5 years between governments and the industry sector. So the industry and the governments had to start to make what we call like an advisory council to inform a vision or a strategy and a roadmap for each country, so they can help deliver those innovative products or novel products to their patients. So the importance of those more roadmaps is to serve the patient and make sure that all the needs of each patient are met. Also, we need to make sure that our healthcare system is strong, and we're supporting our, for example, population, and our any country supports its population and its people, and keep their health in the best condition ever. Who can think about a strategy or any country who had shaped a roadmap like this? Any thoughts or examples that came across your mind now? You can unmute yourself, or you can write in the chat box.
Yes, they can raise their hands if they want to use the microphone, and then we can unmute them.
Yes.
Yes.
Who have any example about industry collaborations between the governments? Anyone has any idea? Any raised hands, Michelle?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, I will give you extra 2 minutes to think before I share some examples. Okay, so the idea of this question is to try to link what we hear in the news and what we see in practice to the right wording, or the right, let's say, to think about what's happening around us. So when we're thinking about the Saudi vision, for example, 2030, we can see that there's a huge focus on the healthcare system, and they are making communications, they are making collaborations with many stakeholders, especially with the industry, to make the vaccines, for example, made and manufactured in Saudi. This is the first example. Another example we would say, I read it this morning, that the Egyptian Health Authority had made a collaboration with Sanofi to support patients with unmet needs in Egypt. So such collaboration can influence or support the companies and support the patient in this country, so they can find their products they are looking for, and they can treat it easily without struggling with the disease they are having. So we will move to the next slide and discuss more about communicating for impact. I don't know why that's okay. So why is it an essential skill? Why communication skills are essential? The purpose of any communication may fall into the following types. First, understanding. Second, we need to gather and develop information and ideas. We need to build rapport. We have to make rapport building. Also, to make decisions, and this is the most important. We need our conversations, our interactions, to be translated into acts, and this is the why communication skills is important. So communications in the biopharma landscape are crucial. We need to understand that our stakeholders or our audience understand what we are saying, the message that we are saying, what we are going to do, and most importantly, we need to understand how they feel, because we would like to know if they are motivated for what we are interaction or the purpose that we are interacted. Because if they are not motivated or they are not engaged with our conversation, we can't see a real results. So our communication would be for nothing and no results, and we don't for sure want this to happen. Now we have another question. What's the most preferred communication channel in pharma? So Michelle will share you the options. So you can answer. What do you think is the most preferred communication channel in biopharma? Is it email encryptions? Is it video conferencing, face-to-face, or all of the above? Okay, Michelle, can we end the poll after 1 second or two?
All right, so I'll end it very soon. So far, we have 21 people who have participated. So we'll just give a few seconds for the others. Okay. Yes.
I want you to answer this question from your opinion, not what's true and what's wrong. What do you think?
Okay, so far we have 23 people, 24, counting. One more.
We need to hear from you. What's your opinion, simply? Have they reached 40?
Okay, so we have 25 people out of.
Okay.
Yes. So should I end it right now, or we should wait?
Okay, let's wait a second. Yeah,
okay.
1 second more, so we can hear from all of you. What do you think is the most preferred communication channel in biopharma? Have we reached 30, Michelle?
We are now on 29.
Okay, we
Yes.
need one more answer before ending the poll. Yellow.
Yes. So we need one more, yeah. We are now on 30, so I'm going to end the poll.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
these are the results.
Okay. So the most let's say correct answer, there's no true or false answer, but there's correct and more correct answer, or more preferable answer, which is face-to-face. So people in general prefer face-to-face communication, and we will mention why in the upcoming slides. So we will discuss this with further details, okay? Okay. Now we are going to discuss what are the challenges that are facing regulatory interactions, or the pharma interactions in general. What are the key communication skills required in pharma? In the previous question, we had discussed what's the preferred communication skills, and then I told you that it's face-to-face. So I will mention now why. Well, in key skills, in key communication skills, we have the verbal communication, we have active listening, we have effective written communication, nonverbal communication, and most importantly, we have empathy and emotional intelligence. Who can tell me why face-to-face interactions are the most preferred interaction in our everyday life, not only in pharma? Who can share his opinion with us? I need to hear one opinion, at least. Any raised hands?
No raised hands so far, but we have some responses in the chat.
Okay.
Yes.
Emotions, okay. Eye contact, okay. Body language.
Yes.
Great.
We also have a raised hand from Mohammed.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to allow them to talk.
Okay.
Yes, Mohammed, you can go ahead and speak.
Yes, thank you for giving me the chance to express my work. I think face-to-face conversation generate confidence in patient to healthcare providers, which is not easy in other. I think it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed, for sharing your opinion. Well, in face-to-face interaction, we have we can encode the message in different ways. So we have the verbal communication, the words that we are saying. We have the subvocal voice, the subvocal speech, or the tone of our voice, because our tone can really deliver a message. For example, we have non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication can cover many aspects in the language. For example, there's the body language, which I read in the chat box. That's correct. We have like tactile sensories or interactions, like the touch or the body contact. The body gesture, the eye contact. I also read that in the chat box, so that's true. We have like olfactory factors, like the perfumes. So everyone know that the perfumes can make an impact, or can left an impression on the one that I'm talking to or I'm delivering my message to. So my general appearance. So the more I'm prepared, I have a good, I'm looking good. I smell good, for example. I'm using the right communication skills. I'm using the right body language, the right eye contact. Though all those factors assure that I'm having a good communication skills, and those key communication skills will assure that I'm delivering my message correctly. So I will be having a better response when I'm communicating face to face. And this is why we are saying when we are interactive through the written communication, we have to pay extreme attention to the words that they are used, or the language that's used, because the person who is reading or responding to our message will only read words. He will not see us, will not smell us, will not interact face to face with us. So we need to pay attention to what we write in effective communication process. Also, critical step to, or important point to consider is empathy and emotional intelligence. We need to feel the persons. If we felt that they are not interacting maybe with our message, maybe we don't have the same, let's say, purpose from this interaction, so the interaction will have no value. So we need to evaluate the interaction or the conversation while we are communicating. If there is something to add, I can modify my communication skills and what I'm doing, so I can have a direct, better response from the person that I'm talking to. Okay, who can tell me what are the potential consequences of poor communication in pharma industry? Can I deliver a message, a correct message? You can write me in the chat. Can I deliver a correct message, or can I have a good response if I'm communicating in a poor way in the pharma industry? Can I launch any products? You can write me in the chat box. No interaction. Any raised hands?
No hands raised. Probably they missed the question. You might repeat it. Maybe somebody missed the question.
Okay. Yes. So what are the potential consequences of poor communication in the pharma industry? So I asked them, you can answer yes or no. Can I deliver an effective message with poor communication? So they can answer even yes or no in the chat. Okay, no, that's correct. With poor communication, we can't reach anywhere and we can't deliver any product to the market. So we can't serve any patient and we can enhance our healthcare system. Simply. Well, in biopharma, there's two different types of communication. We have like the internal communication and we have the external communication. Internal communication happens inside the company itself. So we have people who are sharing the same culture, and there is some messages or let's say job functions that needed to be performed. So the internal communication is between colleagues and departments. The external communication is between the other stakeholders or the other regulatory bodies, the health authorities who I'm interacting with, so I can register my product and make a successful access for my products. So we need to consider all possible consequences of miscommunication during the regulatory interactions. So self-monitoring people who are skilled in communication skills, they keep to monitor people and they see how they interact with the message. They always ask themselves, are my non-verbal behaviors and verbal communication reflecting my message or the message that I want to deliver? So we need to take care of all aspects of the message that's communicated so we can have the response that we would like to have. So we need, in order to maintain a proper communication, we need to address issues like language barriers. Maybe people are not getting the idea that we're not understanding what we are saying. We have cultural barriers. We need to consider, for example, business etiquette when we're communicating with people. We need to avoid complex scientific jargon so we can make our communication simple and clear. We need to consider remote collaboration, especially when the situation of the COVID. And we have to take care of the interdepartmental miscommunication and really to know or to highlight where is this miscommunication so we can adjust our behaviors or our communications. Now we're going to discuss some strategies for successful interactions and how can you implement the communication skills. We have like cross-cultural communications. For example, as we said, the pharmaceutical industry in general had become global. If you're working in any place, for example, you will start seeing that you are having, for example, a colleague from Pakistan, a colleague from the Middle East, a colleague from Europe. So you need to be aware of all the cultural differences and to know what are the relevance of cross-cultural communication in the global for biopharmaceutical industry. Let's give an example. For example, let's say the personal distance. And it's different in each culture. For example, some like the Middle East culture, they accept being so close, and they prefer having a close like personal distances between each other, so it's okay for them. But when we consider the American culture, it's different. They prefer far distances. They don't prefer being so close together. So in the workplace, I need to know who I'm interacting with, to understand their culture, so I can communicate easily and smoothly. And we also need to navigate how cultural differences can foster successful collaborations and partnerships. For example, if I'm respecting the other's cultural values or cultural differences, we will have many things in common. But if I'm not aware of those cultural communications, I can reach nowhere, and my communication will or message will not be delivered effectively. In the next slide, we're going to discuss some digital communication tools, where digital is the data, technologies, and new ways of working that can help maximize value. And we had all used the digital communication tools, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. We had to make sure that all the jobs or the work is functioning effectively. So we use those digital communication tools. Also, when we are in different countries, for example, when I'm working in Jordan, I'm communicating someone in USA, for example, to deliver a specific product. We need to use digital communication to cover the distance between us without traveling. So digital communication had made everything really easier and more efficient. So we have like email encryptions, we can use video conferencing, we can use the collaboration platforms. Also, the artificial intelligence and software are now widely available and usable. In communication, we need to plan crisis communication in advance. So in order to avoid any miscommunication, we need to follow this strategy to overcome the situation that we are going that we are going through. And COVID-19 again had shown us that some individual and organization didn't have the well preparedness for this crisis. So companies nowadays are building or developing long-term strategies that will effectively measure the preparedness for any upcoming challenging situations, or maybe the next outbreak, as stated by Bill Gates. So people start writing about how we are going, for example, like Bill Gates, he started mentioning and writing how human beings would interact and what they would do differently if another outbreak had come, like the situation we have lived in with COVID-19. Many pharmaceutical companies give training and development exercises for their employees, so they are familiar with the digital tool, the communication process in general, and they focus on having ethics. So all the communicators must be transparent, honest, and they should avoid any conflict of interest. We're doing all of this not to lose the main message. Okay, now we're going to discuss some stories in pharma communication, where successful communication means having a healthy workplace culture, increased innovation, strengthened team building, and boosted employee job satisfaction. Now I want you to be engaged more in my presentation, and I want to hear about any real life example of organizations that have successfully implemented effective communication practices. Any ideas? Do you have any ideas, any examples?
Okay, so to our participants, do feel free to put your answers in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and we can unmute you so that you can give your response verbally.
Yes. Any ideas of real life examples? There's very close examples. Anything? I will check the chat. No, okay. So I will give you the first example, and you will tell me how this example is delivering effective communication to serve the healthcare sector, the patients, and engaging young leaders like you. So our first example will be IVPN network. Simple, easy, clear example about engaging healthcare professionals and junior professionals like you and students in the communication process effectively, so they can interact with everyone. Who can give us example? How can IVPN network do such an impact to the healthcare system? Any thoughts? How can IVPN network contribute effectively in the practice in communication practices in the healthcare system? Okay, I can repeat the question for sure. How can IVPN network communicate effectively and inspire healthcare professionals? Okay, we have from Dr. Sabrine. Thank you, Dr. Sabrine. Increase the level of education and communication for healthcare providers. That's correct. Yes. Share your thoughts. So what IVPN network is doing? Intercommunication between different healthcare sectors, correct. They are hosting healthcare providers to share their ideas, their thoughts, scientific information in an innovative way so they can spread the awareness about different diseases. They can educate patients, right? Okay, so let's see, let's get back and see how can effective communication practices play a pivotal role in the biopharmaceutical industry. First, it plays a pivotal role in a clinical trial collaboration. So effective communication can help us recruit volunteers to participate in the clinical trials. They can help regulatory professionals to master their submissions with the health authorities, communicate with the health care providers. It can help us in product launch. We can't launch any product without effective communication practices. Also, the medical science liaisons and medical reps, they are communicating science and informations with healthcare professionals and patients, so they can be informed about their disease, what's the upcoming trends, what's new and treating any disease, for example, especially the rare diseases that we're hearing about now. We can see effective communication practices in patient education and adherence programs. So effective communication practices can increase patient adherence to their therapies, right? Pharmacovigilance is the type of communication. When I have any side effect, I do effective communication to report the side effect that I'm having. For example, crisis communication. When we were during the COVID pandemic, we start to hear by social media about the COVID, what's the virus, how we can protect ourselves from this virus. Also, we have scientific conferences and publication, and we can consider that IVPN is making many scientific conferences and publications available to many healthcare professionals and students as well. Before I move to the next examples, anyone have any question? Does anyone have any question? Any words that you don't understand?
Okay, I'm just going to look into the chat box if there's any question.
We have from Muhammad Khan. Yes, he's saying that awareness by IVPN network through lectures, seminars, including every aspect of pharmaceuticals and clinical aspects, in one of the effective communication among pharmacy. That's right, practitioners, examples like webinars in PV, clinical aspects. Yes, that's great. Absolutely true.
Yes, and previously, like just at the beginning, we had a question from Puskar. I hope I'm pronouncing the name well. They say that what is the best way to communicate with confidential patients as well as aggressive patients or visitors?
Can you repeat it again, Michelle? Because
what is the best way to communicate with confidential patients as well as aggressive patients or visitors?
Okay, by using, as we said, all types or key communication skills that we have mentioned to interact face to face, so we can see their response, right, when we are communicating with them. So I can adjust my communication strategy. As we said, I'm using a strategy. So I can deliver the appropriate message. So I'm having a patient and I need to give a patient counseling, for example. So I can communicate with this person and educate him about his disease, for example. Is it clear? Hopefully it's clear.
Yes.
So I would like to, you're most welcome, to move to the other examples about communication, so you can understand in depth the importance of communication in all aspects of the healthcare, especially with the pharmaceutical companies, because each and every pharmaceutical company, they have a key strategy they follow, like it's their signature for communicating with healthcare professionals, with the industry, with public, with media, because media is very important, as we saw, especially during the pandemics. So we have another shared thought that personal touch in counseling while communicating with such patients usually help, and that's absolutely true. It goes under empathy and emotional intelligence. Thank you so much for those who are sharing their thoughts, and I hope that everyone could be engaged during the slides that I'm mentioning. So communication skills is everywhere around us. Who know a company called Pfizer? Raise your hands. Okay. Only 2 know Pfizer? Where's the interaction?
Yes, we have people who have raised their hands. So far,
Only 3 know the company Pfizer. Okay, no problem.
and then in the chat box
Okay.
also, we have people who are saying yes.
Okay, great. Great. Okay. Well, biopharmaceutical companies, they are implementing effective communicating practices to achieve their goals. For example, let's take Pfizer as an example. Pfizer, it's known for its comprehensive and targeted communication strategies. So they have a strategy while communicating with everyone across the health care sector. And what's unique about Pfizer, they communicate in a unique way, especially through any product launch. A very famous example that we all lived with, COVID-19 vaccine launch. We were in the middle of the pandemic, and everyone was scared of the virus, scared of being dying, for example. They were upset from not having the freedom to go everywhere and any time or anywhere they would like to. But what Pfizer did, they engaged us with this launch. How? They made a clear and transparent communication, providing us with updates. So they didn't have the vaccine ready yet, but they involved us with the process, how they are going to start, or they are going to bring the new hope to the whole population on Earth. So they start informing us that they had started their clinical trials. For example, we have recruited 1,000 volunteers to start our clinical trials. We start in Jordan, we had started in USA. That's how they start engaging us. And we start to see that there's hope. One day we will have this vaccine to get rid of this virus and return to our normal lives. Then they had engaged us with the regulatory approvals. So when they were negotiating with the US FDA and the US government, they were engaging us in this process, and they were collaborating with media to spread the news that Pfizer is communicating with FDA, for example, to get the final approval of that vaccine. They did what they have implemented a new approach that's called emergency use authorization. So they didn't go with a traditional way. They told the whole globe that we're going to do the impossible to bring you this vaccine that would save your lives and will help you get back to normal. So they have, after that, after having the approval, they started informing us about the distribution plan. So we started to wait when Pfizer vaccine is going to reach, for example, Jordan or Saudi or India, for example, and we kept waiting for this vaccine. Finally, they taught the whole world many engagement lessons. They were engaged with public, with healthcare professionals, with the media to ensure accurate and timely information dissemination. So Pfizer made this story of launching the COVID-19 vaccine to go and be mentioned in the history, and it will be mentioned for many years because it was creative and it was a targeted strategy, as we had discussed. Okay, we have like another company we have Novartis, for example. Novartis had established a strong online presence and leveraged digital platforms to engage with patients, healthcare providers, and stakeholders. Novartis show us that they have a sense of community and support. So they support patients. They share information about their products. They share information about how to manage your disease and what are the latest research advancements. So they have a podcast called, a podcast, sorry, called MS Talk, Keep Moving Forward. Who can tell me this podcast communicating what group of patients? Anyone know? MS Talks. Can anyone guess? Anyone have a guess? Okay, MS talks are delivered for multiple sclerosis patients. So with this podcast, they are going to educate patients how they can live with their MS disease. It's very brilliant, and they can measure the interaction by patients. Okay, we have Roche as another example. Roche go with a patient-centric communication, and they take care of the centricity of the patients. So they have the company Roche, and they make collaborations to make the right treatment for the right person at the right time. So they are providing personalized support services. Okay, another examples, we have Gilead Sciences. Gilead are communicating, or their slogan is creating possible. So they're recognized for communication efforts in addressing public health issues. One of the most important cases that Gilead had dealt with, the HIV/AIDS epidemic. So they did an effective communication strategy and collaboration to raise awareness about those diseases and to provide access to medications. And as we can see in this picture, they had made some collaborations for example, they made a collaboration with the International Association for AIDS to start raising the awareness and provide access to medications. So all companies are making a huge efforts to communicate. For example, Johnson & Johnson, we all heard that Johnson & Johnson, or we all know that Johnson & Johnson have a strong reputation for crisis communication. So I think that this is one of the most difficult type of communication, because when you're in crisis, you have to stay strong and to defend your case, defend your product, and not to be an easy quitter, because there would be like a huge mess. All the papers, as we see in the picture here, everyone will start talking. For example, we have this example in the picture about a product for Johnson & Johnson called Tylenol. What was spread at the newspapers at that time, that 5 dead after taking Tylenol capsules filled with cyanide. Can you imagine the message spread in the newspaper? Can anyone buy any product for Johnson & Johnson? Tell me, would you buy any product for Johnson & Johnson after reading this news in the newspaper or hearing this news? Are you going to buy anything from Johnson & Johnson? No. No one would buy anything from Johnson & Johnson, yet they are one of the best-selling companies in USA and across the globe. Why? How can they manage to do and to achieve the high selling records? They maintain trust. They maintain trust in a very amazing way. How? They are transparent with the patients and the people they are using their products. Also, they are willing to take the responsibility. So if anything happened to you while taking any of Johnson & Johnson products, they take care of everything. They are transparent and they are willing to take the responsibility of the products that they have developed. They will communicate strategically with public through media, healthcare professionals, the doctors. When doctors say that Johnson & Johnson, people died from Johnson & Johnson product, healthcare professionals will stop prescribing any product for Johnson & Johnson, because we are not speaking about one product. We're talking about thousands of products that were produced right from 1980s to our day. We have also another parties to deal with, which are the regulatory agencies. So whenever any safety issue come it's clear, regulatory agencies start talking to Johnson & Johnson to recall their products from the market, to prevent anyone from using their products. So they need to be very patient, very strong, follow a very smart strategy to gain or to maintain that trust and being able to stay on the top of the market they want to be in. Another example for Johnson & Johnson, which is Johnson baby powder. Anyone know what was the safety concerns regarding Johnson baby powder? Anyone know? Talc powder, yes, right. Cancer, great. Yes, that's true. There was a news or rumors that the Johnson baby powders or talc powder is causing cancer. Does anyone would like to use this baby powder? So I will quit using any baby powder, for example, from Johnson & Johnson, if I'm going to have cancer, right? I will stop using it. So what they did a clarification like this. So what they had said, we, Johnson & Johnson, have been in the news lately about the talc in our baby powder. We know how important this is to you, and we would like to tell you the facts. So with this sentence, they're being transparent. They took the responsibility of getting this message into public, make it simple, clear, and they had stated clearly that our talc is safe. They had explained that this is a mineral that's part of our lives, and we use it in food, in our gyms, in cosmetics, and yet it's in Johnson's baby powder. So there's a confirmation that we're using the same product in Johnson's baby powder, and they have never heard about any complaints. And by this such statements, they had gained the trust and maintained it, and people nowadays are using Johnson baby powder again. What do you think? Is it powerful or not? Yes, it's the most powerful strategy of communication, because in any crisis, people would immediately stop using this this product, especially that's not a critical product, because it's a baby powder. So I can stop using a baby powder easily. But when we heard such crisis with the vaccines, the situation was different, and then there was further explanations about each product and each one of the stakeholders. Okay, we have a comment like it's depends on the audience. Yes, I totally agree with you, and this is why we need to communicate the audience. And by this example, Johnson & Johnson had talked to the public, to the people that are using the talc powder, and they told them that it's safe. So I need to reconvince the people that my product is safe, and I have the scientific evidence, because as you see, they have mentioned science, not sensationalism. So it's all about science. We have a scientific evidence that our product is safe and could be used. So even before they are communicating the public, they have settled all issues with the regulatory authorities. So the regulatory authorities and health authorities will not allow any messages like this to be communicated on public before they make sure that this product is safe and it doesn't cause cancer. Okay, we have further examples like Lilly, for example. This company is very creative. They are using digital innovation and their communication strategy. What they are making, how they are communicating, they are using virtual reality and augmented reality. So scientists, before creating any product, they start imagining and experimenting how these products are going to be used using technology. So it's very creative. Who agree that's the most creative ways of having medicines? Okay. I missed the slide. Okay, the last example we're talking about today is Amgen. Amgen make collaborations and partnerships, and they are following this communication strategy or this approach. They are bridging the gaps and align with various stakeholders toward achieving common goals. As we said, the main purpose of communication is to achieve a common goal. For example, they are dealing with or collaborating with patient advocacy groups, research institutions, and healthcare providers. So Amgen, it's very well known for their scientific approach. What's the message or what's the goal? Again, disease education. They are going to inform the patients with the and healthcare professionals with the treatment option, and they can recruit volunteers for clinical trials. And as we see from their slogan, pioneering science delivers vital medicines. So every company has a slogan that reflects the communication strategy that they are following. By the way, all the companies that we have mentioned, they have like foundations or internship opportunities. So what you have to do is to search the company that you're interested to make an internship or training with, and they provide a lot of opportunities for students and interns to be involved early in this scientific journey or innovative driven journey. I would like to finalize my presentation with some take-home messages. So effective communication can increase the value across the healthcare sector for patients and for healthy individuals as well. Messages are encoded into words, tone, inflections, facial expressions, and other non-verbal languages like the body languages as we had mentioned. Unintended as well intended meanings may be communicated via non-verbal leakage. So we need to take care of this point, and we need to ask ourselves again, as I mentioned, am I communication or am I reflecting the message that I would like to communicate clearly and effectively? Lastly, there's a quote that I like for Peter Drucker, which says that the most important thing in communication is not to hear what isn't being the most important thing in communication is to hear what isn't being said. So you have to be very smart to hear or to understand what wasn't mentioned, and as we said, what was mentioned between the lines, and in our common language as well. So it's important to be engaged be active to actively listen in order to evaluate the situation that you are going through and communicating your message effectively. I hope you liked my presentation, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bayan, for such an amazing presentation. We really enjoyed that. And also, indeed, good communication is necessary to build a healthy working environment and to increase innovation. And indeed, IVPN network is an excellent example of good communication. Thank you so much. So to our participants, if you have any questions for Dr. Bayan, you can put them in the chat box, or you can raise your hand so that we can unmute you and then you can ask your questions. So now is the time. If you have questions for Dr. Bayan, you can put them in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and say your question verbally. So feel free to put your question. You can also connect with Dr. Bayan on her LinkedIn. Yes, so you can always connect with her. I'm sure she'll be really glad to connect with you all. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. She's here to respond to all of your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Sabrine, for the comment. Thank you, Anton. Thank you, Amin. Thank you, Kalsoum. I hope that I'm saying or pronouncing the names correctly. I hope that you can learn from these examples, and thank you, Rawan, and understand what's going around you, and trying to analyze the communication languages and processes and strategies, and to learn from them, because those strategies can really, we can learn a lot of them, and we can see the results in our communication. You don't know, you may reach a C-level position with great communication, so you have to work hard for developing your communication skills. Okay.
All right. Okay, so it seems like we do not have more questions. We have a comment from Dr. Kalsoum. They're saying we need doctors like you, Dr. Bayan, who support the youth in delivering the best and making the most out of it. That's an amazing comment.
Thank you. Amazing comment. Thank you so much. And I hope that this webinar was a true inspiration for everyone to think and to take the accountability to do everything by themselves. It's your responsibility to go and search for opportunities so you can reach wherever you want. No one can stop you. Nothing is impossible, but you need to work hard toward achieving it. And I think all the companies that I mentioned are a great resources to find training opportunities, internships, and to be involved with healthcare professionals. Use LinkedIn as much as you can, because it's a magical tool to collaborate with professionals. And I co-authored the book that Michelle had mentioned by being active on LinkedIn and by delivering effective communication skills.
Right. So thank you so much, Dr. Bayan. So it seems like we don't have any questions. So if by any chance you have any questions, I think you can connect with Dr. Bayan on her LinkedIn, and you can ask questions about today's webinar. And in the chat box, if there's anybody who would like to join IVPN network, you can join us through the IVPN listserv. So I put in the IVPN network website link in the chat box, and you can also follow IVPN network on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram so that you stay up to date with the webinars that are going on and so many other activities that we host all together. So I'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight for our webinar. I hope that you learned a lot from today, and we wish to see you joining us in our future events. Until next time, thank you, everybody, and see you next time. Goodbye.